things on her. Now, I know you can't see much of her at the moment. She's in this thicket. Thandi, are you going to be like this today? Please don't be like this. Please stay out in the open for us. So she's right in there, sort of hiding away and trying to keep herself as hidden as possible. Craig, can you see her? Straight there. So that's where she is. She's sitting behind that bush, but I don't see a single cut, scratch mark on her. So maybe, just maybe, Shadow was actually the one that was seen with Xidulu and was the one that was fighting with Xidulu, because Thandi looks absolutely fine. Doesn't look like there's anything wrong with her at all. But how exciting is this? So we've managed to at least find her. I know it's not a good view at the moment, but eventually we'll hopefully get it right. I think she's a bit nervous because we were tracking her on foot, and Rex said they found her on foot first before she kind of decided to move into this area. And if she lies down in there, we're going to have a big problem. Don't lie there, please, Thandi. Now she looks as though she's going to go up to the top. Let's try and go back where we went. The problem is I'm worried that we're going to lose her in here. It is so thick and so dense. I tried to follow the Avoca boys the other day in here, and it really is almost impossible. And that's why I thought we'd just try to get a brief view quickly, because the chance of us keeping view of her all the way through to Hyena Road is probably very, very, very slim. She's unfortunately going to go through a lot of thickets. At least it's during the day and not at night, so that should help us a little bit. But it is not going to be easy at all to keep up with her in this. Let's just see. Now, she was walking in this direction. I've lost her completely already. So hopefully she'll pop out somewhere close by here. While we try and find her again, let's send you back across to Taylor, who's finally found herself her first animal. Well, now Thandi has found herself a little gap, at least, where we can see her. But like I say, the chances of us keeping up with her in this is going to be so difficult. She's at least slowly moving today. She's not kind of in a hurry, which is good news. But there you can see her kind of just striding through these thickets, and it really does get insanely dense inside here. It's no wonder we struggle to find her sometimes, because if you had no idea she was here, I mean, even with tracks, you would battle to pinpoint her exact location. You can see it's just a wall of bushes that are in the way. Now, we're going to try and keep up with her and try and sort of stay with her as she goes. Now, Lilia, no, all leopards do not have the same spots. You'll have a situation where every leopard has got different spots altogether. So, you know, they are, that's how we identify them, is through their different spots. It's like us, we all have different color skin, different eyes. Ooh, no, that's not going to work. Sorry, Craig. That's not ideal. So this is the problem with this place, is that you can't see anything because of the long grass and the big stumps that are in the way. So we're going to try and kind of keep up with her, but I don't know. This should be a very interesting little half an hour. If she goes through this, then it starts to get much easier for us. It'll start sort of opening out as it gets towards Hyena Road, but it's that initial sort of phase to get towards Hyena Road that is very difficult. Now, I've lost her already. I can't see any sign of her. Craig, you see her? So, no idea where she's gone already. Alright, let's try and see what we can do here. Now, I'm going to try and just punch through here and try and get back to where Thandi is. So while I do that, let's send you back across to Steve, who I believe is in some mud. She is indeed, and I think this is going to be our last view of her in the next 2 seconds, because if she drops down any further than where she is now, unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to be able to follow her. It goes through a little drainage that is near impossible for a car to get in, and so we're probably going to have to just watch her ambling through that thicket. She's not in any rush by any stretch of the imagination, but it's just, I don't see us being able to negotiate this area. We'll try, though, and see what we can get up to and what we can sort of sort out. But this is the kind of stuff that she likes to walk in, and this is why she can be a tough leopard to find. Often people kind of ask who's the toughest leopard to track, and, well, this is what we face when we try and face Thandi. She's a lot harder than our boys in a lot of respects. Our boys are generally a little bit more kind of straightforward and direct in the way that they walk, whereas Thandi, is, as you can see, going straight through the thicket. But I am still yet to see a cut on her or a scrape or any evidence of her fighting at all. So she obviously wasn't the one involved, which is very, very interesting. And so maybe Rex was right in that it was a situation where its shadow was around, which is interesting news. But there's definitely no, like I say, no evidence of Thandi fighting at all. You can see that her back of her head is clean, and when leopards fight, they'll get cuts on their faces, around their eyes, their ears, their noses, those kind of places. That's where all of the scrapes and cuts come, and even around the back of the neck area, and there's nothing on this particular individual at all. So I don't think she was involved in this particular fight, which is quite interesting. So Sky Doogie, no milk or suckle marks that I can see, which is not really an indication if the cub is alive or not, because she's at that age now where she's starting to be weaned. So the amount of milk that Thandi's producing is far less. And the thing is, though, is that Thandi keeps coming to the same area and back again, and so maybe this cub is still alive. I don't know. I mean, like I say, I more than anything want to be proven wrong, that her behavior is kind of just an abnormality in terms of a leopard just doing something different, and that the cub is still alive. I would love for that to be the case, but it's difficult to say. I mean, I haven't seen a single track for the cub this morning in the tracks that I found for her. Obviously, she was in a patrol this morning. She wasn't actually with the cub when she was walking from Djuma all the way to where she is now. But this afternoon and where she was during the day, there doesn't seem to be any tracks of the cub. But unfortunately, I'm pretty sure that's going to be the last of it for us. I don't think we're going to be able to follow any further than that for now. We'll try and just see. Maybe we can get a situation where we can get through here at some point, but I don't know if it's going to be possible. I want to just try. Obviously, you've got to be a bit careful about some of the tree species that we have here. She's crossed this drainage already, which is exactly what I was hoping she wasn't going to do. I was hoping she was going to sit tight for a bit. Let's see if we can slide ourselves through here. We're good there, Craig? Alright, now I'm sure we're going to lose signal going through this, so while I try and negotiate this, let's send you back across to Taylor, who's still on Chitwa. She seems as though she's very, very busy this afternoon and on her own little kind of walkabouts. I don't know what she's busy doing, but she's looking around all the time. And are you going to lie down? Finally. Okay. Alright, so let's try and get somewhere there and see if we can try and relocate her. Well, finally we've got Thandi kind of, she sat down and then she decided to walk again, but at least she's out in a bit more open area and we can actually get to see her quite nicely, which is nice. She's interested in something. She's kind of staring south. Now, often in this area we have a lot of nyala that you see, and oh, bless you, Craig. Are you all right there? Yes, there's lots of pollen in the air, Craig. One must be careful of that. Don't get hay fever. But anyway, she seems to be watching something and kind of moving around. And I was saying there's lots of nyala, lots of duiker, steenbok in this particular area, and it's a good place for her to hunt. The grass is incredibly long, and so if she can get into that grass and she can watch what's going on, then she can stalk through. And you can see, look, as she goes down this sort of stump, you see how the grass is pretty much the same height as her, so she'll just disappear very, very quickly as she walks along. But it's interesting, she kind of ambles along a little bit, then she stops and listens, walks along a little bit, stops and listens. So I don't know what she's up to, but she's definitely a busy cat today. And interestingly enough, she's now heading back in exactly the same way that we have tracked her during the course of the day. She's going back towards sort of Gari Cutline Central and towards Djuma Dam or Gari Dam from where we are. But she's seen something. Look how she's watching. See how that neck's gone bolt up right now, and she's just checking things out. Her tail is twitching a little bit, so she's in a situation where she's spotted something. Look at that. That's the telltale sign that a leopard has seen something and is interested in what's going on. When their tail twitches a little bit and their neck goes upright like that, it's like they've spotted what they're looking for and they're interested in whatever they see. But maybe she's decided it's not what she wants to hunt. You never know. Sometimes you get situations where it's bigger animals. It could be something like a buffalo, it could be something like elephants, and then they kind of see them and they see the movement, but then they just sort of stop and watch it go by and they actually don't chase anything, unless it's Hosana, who can't help himself and he'll just try and go after it. Now, are you going to come back to where I am, Thandi? What's going on here, girl? You can't make up your mind as to where you want to go. Just going underneath the branch. I was hoping she was going to go lie on top of that branch and just sit there ever so nicely for us, but it seems as though that's not going to happen. It seems as though she's still going to carry on going away from us. I'm hoping she finds a spot just to lie down and that we can try and kind of spend a bit of time with her and just get to check her sort of face and her body as much as possible, just to make sure it definitely wasn't her. But so far, no sign of or indication of her fighting with anybody at this stage. Right, onward we go. Well, I don't know what Steve said, but anyway, we're sitting with Thandi, and she's sitting on top of a marula tree. So she's been ever so obliging and decided to jump up into a marula tree and give us a bit of a break from driving so much. Isn't that spectacular? That is the quintessential leopard shot. A leopard in a marula tree is as good as it can possibly get. Blue sky behind her. At the moment the sun's not out, so we're not seeing too much of the sort of nice orange glow, but as soon as that sun drops below the clouds, we should get this beautiful color on her, and then that nice blue and kind of cloudy sky as a backdrop should be absolutely wonderful. So really nice to see her, and nice of her to be so obliging and go up into a tree. I thought that we were going to be in for another long afternoon trying to follow her, but she's decided this is where she's going to just take a bit of a break and rest. So wonderful for us, and wonderful for everybody else that wants to try and come into this area. Now I just need to let somebody know, because I told them that I'd let them know if she does go stationary. So let me just call yours quickly. Yours. So she's having a little look our direction. Yeah, she's just gone into a marula tree, so just come from Hyena Road, find our tracks, and then head west. And she's static in the tree now. So, is that not as good as it gets? And now you can see there is not a single scratch on her at all. She was definitely not involved in that fight by the sounds of things. So it must have been Shadow? Surely. I mean, I don't think Rex would have gotten Shadow or Thandi wrong. It can't have been anybody else, surely not. Well, I suppose there could have been. These days you can't tell. There's so many different leopards moving around, but it definitely wasn't Thandi. Her body and her kind of condition there is not a single scratch anywhere on her face, and that would be impossible. If you look at Xidulu, she had scratches all on her nose, around her muzzle, and even in her sort of mouth area, and so she obviously bit and scratched and hurt the other leopard, and that must have meant a situation where she unfortunately got hold of that other leopard. So I don't know at all. Jenny, you say she's very relaxed. She is about as relaxed as you could possibly imagine. She's as chilled and calm and in zen-like state for Thandi, because Thandi often has a little snarl on her and a little sort of spiciness to her demeanor, and today she's being an absolute lady. She's not doing anything. She's been very chilled. In fact, the last 2 times I've seen her, she hasn't so much as even batted an eyelid at us, which is quite nice. So she's been nice and calm, which is good news, and I wonder what's going on with her and whether or not this little cub is still here. The fact that she's kind of moved back into that area, and tomorrow will be a definite indication. If she goes and we've tracked her tracks straight back to that same section again, then we know that little one is still alive, because she won't go to the same spot unless she has a situation where she's got a cub there. It's not even about food. She's ranging far too far to have a carcass in that area, and you can see she's not exactly massively full. So if she goes back to that same spot tomorrow morning, then we know that the little one is probably still alive in that section, and she's just doing territorial patrols as well as a little bit of hunting throughout the day. But there comes that beautiful golden light that I was talking about. It's slowly but surely starting to come out again, and it should be absolutely spectacular when she looks in our way. Good. Well, hopefully she's going to spend a bit of time up this tree. Hopefully we'll continue to be blessed with these beautiful views of her. While we do that, let's send you across to Taylor, who's got, I believe, 2 crocodiles bobbing about. every time. So we were just chatting to one of the guys with us in the sighting. We were talking about her coming down the tree. So she's just dropped down and is kind of just looking around at the moment. So I'm just trying to position myself. I was hoping we would be able to get into a point where we would have that kind of backdrop and we would have been able to see her coming down. But she went down the bottom side. But look how she's sniffing, and that phlegm and grimace is still going. So exactly what we were seeing from her the other day is that she's very intrigued by a lot of smells that are around at the moment. Now, this particular section, I was saying that Gajima's been seen on here, Hukamuri's been seen in this area. No other females, though, as far as I know. So I wonder what she's sniffing out and what's actually going on with Thandi at the moment. It would just be nice to know if she's got the little one still or what's happened there. I think the only way we're going to be able to tell is just by trying to follow her as much as possible in the course of the next few days. We've got an opportunity now that she's around this area and that she's kind of been moving about, and so maybe, just maybe, we're going to be able to sort of get into a point where we're going to be able to kind of follow what's going on and work out what's going down with her little one and what sort of Thandi's behavior actually means. Anyway, it's nice to have her though at this stage. Scent marking again, so let's see where she takes us. I think she's going to take us back to where we started this morning, which is back to basically camp itself. So that's where we're kind of heading. It's going to be a rough ride to get there, but we'll eventually get there and it will be all okay. But she's definitely a lot more on Juma than she was 2 weeks ago. I mean, we weren't finding a single track of her. Now we're seeing tracks of her pretty much daily at the moment, which is interesting. So I wonder if she's just responding. I'm baffled as to who the other leopard in the fight was. I was just speaking to Jors about it because Jors is in the sighting with me, and he said he was at the fighting sighting, and he said to me that he didn't get any photos of the other leopard. It was with Xidulu, but he said he got a very short video that he's battling to try and kind of convert so that it's small enough to post. And then once he's got the video right, he'll send it to us and we'll be able to then ID exactly who that other leopard was. And it might be another mystery little female in the area, or it could be Shadow. If it's Shadow, I'll be more excited than I think if it's anybody else, because just she'll be kind of out of nowhere. She would have appeared again in this area, which is going to be amazing. Right, let's see now. She's still moving away from us with purpose, so she has indeed. She's found an epic branch that just kind of reaches out into the sky, and it almost seems as though she's just kind of suspended in the air at the moment. And just now there was the most amazing light that was out for about 2 seconds that highlighted her, and so I'm hoping there's one more little crack in the clouds that the sun might follow, that we get one more kind of burst of that golden light, because it is really very pretty. But you can see she's made herself very comfortable. In fact, just now, before I started talking, she was actually sleeping, so she was having a bit of a nap, so I don't think she's planning on moving anytime soon. But I'm surprised at her behavior. Thandi is not a cat that we see in trees regularly. She is in trees when she's got carcasses, but outside of that, I can count maybe on one hand the amount of times I've seen her in a tree without a carcass. And today we've seen her go up 2 different trees after scent marking at both of them and phlegm and grimacing at both of them. So I'm not sure what she's up to and why she's going up into these trees, but interesting anyway. And the way that she's kind of scanning about, it almost seems as though she's using these as big vantage points to check around her area and survey her kingdom, or queendom, should we say. And it really is spoiling us with the most epic of views. Having a leopard up in a tree like that is a very, very special thing, and it's what many people who come to Africa hope to see. And so we're being super fortunate to have her sitting the way that she is at the moment. Like I said, I just like this particular angle because it kind of just seems as though she's just floating in the sky, and you know, it's very seldom you get a background where it's just this kind of blue sky like we've got this evening. And so it will be very, very pretty, especially if she stays up there towards dusk, because we should get a nice bit of color coming out of the sky, and then it should be absolutely beautiful. In fact, actually, it might be quite nice to go around and get some backlighting of her. It might be a bit bright still, but just now it should be very pretty. You can see a few purples and things that are starting to come out, and she's just placed waiting and watching and seeing what's going on. Maybe let's try, Craig. Let's see what it's like with the backlight, because we're not going to get any more sunlight. I'm just looking over to the clouds and see and what's going on, because the sun at the moment, well, we'll show you now when I get round her. and show you what it looks like from the other side. Is really not going to be a chance for us to get any more sort of light on her. So it might be nice just to try a bit of a backlighting situation with that sunset in the background, particularly if we put a bit of light on it somewhere along the car, one of our little sort of floods, not the spotlights, because the floodlights will give us a much better kind of view of what's going on. But we're almost round. Now, I want to know from all of you what you think. So hashtag Safari Live, what do you think Thandi's up to? Do you think that she's marking territory because she's sensed another leopard, or do you think it's because she might have potentially lost her little one? That's what I want to know. Do you think the cub is alive or not? You can just... Oh, these trees are not working for me, Craig. This is not going as well as I wanted it to go. But we'll try go a little bit further forward. How's that, Craig? Let's try there for a little bit and just see what we get. It's not ideal, actually, what we've got at the moment, but we'll try and kind of use it. But there's the sun in the background. I'll try and just use a little bit of light just to give it a little bit of kind of color on her. But difficult. She's not quite behind the sunset, so we can't quite get a silhouette, and there's so many branches and trees in the way. I'm not sure we will get it, but we'll try and kind of figure it out. Either way, still an epic view of a leopard with a sunset in the background, and like I say, it doesn't get much better than that at all. Good, well, we'll try and fiddle about here, see what we can get, see if we can get a better sort of view of what's going on, and while we do that, let's send you back across to Taylor, who I believe is messing around with some hornbills. Well, it's not great in terms of the sunsets. Unfortunately, that was just not going to work. We just couldn't get into the right place for that. But we've got a great view of Thandi just kind of staring out over the savannah with her paws placed on the sort of view of the tree and her just staring off into the distance. So it's an absolutely beautiful kind of spot that she's found herself in, and a wonderful marula to sit in. It's a nice branch, that's for sure. Only thing I would say is probably that branch that goes off to the left is blocking things a little bit, but otherwise it's perfect. And where we're sitting here, we've got this magnificent view of her, and she's locked onto something because she hasn't taken her gaze off that direction at all. She just keeps staring in that sort of area the whole time. So I don't know what it is that's there that's appealing to her, but there's definitely something that's interesting her, and she's kind of watching and trying to see exactly what's going on there. But look at that. Isn't that wonderful? I think so. She's very kind of perky as all to what's going on. It's that time of the day now where there should be other creatures starting to move around. I'm pretty sure she's going to be in hunting mode tonight, given that her sort of belly is rather thin. There we go, she's going to come down now. Unfortunately, we're not in a great spot to watch her come down, but it's okay. Can't always win them all. But there she goes. You see her just kind of coming, and down she goes, ever so graceful, as only leopards can. Now you can see there's a big branch in our way, which she's going to walk towards our direction. She's heading straight to where she was staring, so I wonder if maybe she spotted a prey animal that she wants to now go and hunt. She's going to cross behind us. I do apologize about any wires or the back of the car. Unfortunately, she's gone in that direction, and so we're not going to see sort of too much of her as she crosses behind us. But let's try and kind of... Why are you chuffing? Her behavior is very strange. An impala's alarm called. I don't know if it's seen her. Look, she's now coming back this way. Why was she chuffing, though? Can you hear the impala snorting in the background? Unless she was just getting upset with the impala, and that's maybe why she was just sort of growling at the impala. Maybe she is, and why this impala is shouting. Is there another leopard here? Is there a situation where she's just been spotted by being overzealous? I don't see this impala, but it's kind of snorting right here. Yeah, there it is right there. So it is facing in this direction, so it must have just seen her. It's just that she's obviously got herself too out in the open too quickly. Just careful, Craig. Let's try and lift that over the camera so we don't get ourselves into trouble as we try and do a big turn to go back to where Thandi went. For a second there I thought maybe she had seen another leopard, that she was making that sort of face, but it's more the impala. Now, sorry, Rebecca, if you can just repeat that. The guys are shouting on the radio today, and it's very difficult to hear what's going on. So, Matt, a chuff is a contact call for a leopard, a low, very sort of small contact call, and it's basically a little... That's the kind of sound that they make, and they use it if they come into contact with other leopards, or if they have a situation where they are calling their cubs, they use it. So that's why I thought maybe, just maybe, she had seen something, but alas, it doesn't seem that way. Craig, did you see where she went? Problem is, she's sneaking about now. She's trying to keep a low profile, so spotting her is going to be a little on the tough side. I think we might have lost her, to be honest, for now. The impala's still shouting at ghosts because Thandi's long gone since that impala started shouting.
It's running in the grass. I just got to figure out where. There it goes. Is it? No, it's gone into the long grass, which makes it impossible for us to see any. It was on the road. It was running straight down the road, like Tristan said. Oh, that's a pity. I saw it though, VM, you saw it. Oh, very cool though. What a pity. Oh, that's quite nice. I have not seen a honey badger in a very, very long time. Very cool. Ah, next time. We'll come and look in the morning. I'm sure we'll see its tracks. But unfortunately, a very, very shy creature of the night. Oh, man. That would have been so amazing to see.